Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Realtor Nation podcast. My name is Ian Hoover, and I am the host of this show, and I'm ready to bring to you the Realtor Nation, a show to help you improve your business. This is episode 21, and we are going to interview a good friend of mine who's also an affiliate of our company, Deacon Hoover Real Estate Advisors. And his company's name is Redtree Mortgage, and his name is Alex Reinig. He is the founder of the company. He founded it last year after many, many years in the mortgage business. And we're going to get into that in full details with him coming up. All right, welcome, Alex.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Not much else to do, right? Let's talk some biz.
Yeah, let's talk some business. Absolutely. So I want to get into your past. Why did you choose the mortgage business, and kind of maybe tell us what path led you in that direction?
Yeah, no worries. So I've been in the business for almost 16 years. Went to college for communications and worked for a radio station. And at night and during the day, I worked for Merrill Lynch. And no one really tells you in college, you don't really make tons of money. So a lot of cool perks, got to meet a lot of famous people and got to, be young and enjoy all that stuff. But I got introduced to mortgages when I was very young by an executive at Bank of America. So I didn't know what a mortgage was. I had no idea, but it pays more, right? So let's do it. So I went for an interview and I got hired. And so I started in the mortgage business, God knows when, right? So, I've been doing it for 16 years straight. So to the point now where I've opened my own company, I've held multiple positions. I did the normal transition, like branch manager, market, regional, divisional, national, whatever. So I've held all the executive positions, and I finally felt that, I think I know enough to start my own company, and we have. And we're coming on to our year anniversary, and we're very blessed and fortunate because we're just killing it.
Okay, so I got two follow-ups to what you just said.
Oh, great. Okay.
Number one is you said that you were in radio, so I have to hear, what was your pitch, like WKTV FM?
Oh my gosh, you're killing me here.
Come on, let's hear it.
So it was WAPE 95.1, which was Jacksonville's #1 hit music station. So the nightclub gigs, like, hey, what's up? This is Lex. We're at the Ocean Club here in Jacksonville, Florida. You're listening to WAPE 95.1, Jacksonville's #1 hit music station.
Okay,
so that's how we used to do it. So.
You didn't have no corny tagline like the station that rocks or the.
No, that was Lex and Terry. That was our sister company.
Okay.
So that was those guys. Lex and Terry were in charge of the rock show. So.
Very cool. And then you said 16 years ago, so you got into the business at the absolute perfect time, right? Because that was like the mortgage boom.
Oh yeah, I mean, you go from making $35,000 a year at Merrill Lynch, which is good income coming out of college, decent, to making well over six figures in my first year. So wow, I'm like, this is amazing. But then to follow with your point here is with all that good comes with bad. The recession, the mortgage crisis, the meltdown. I was part of all of that, and I was able to survive.
So talk to me about the mortgage meltdown that was in 2008. That was before I got into the business. What did you see? And from a real estate standpoint, because eventually we're going to hit another bubble, maybe not as bad as the last time, but what did you see, and what kind of recommendation would you have to people in the real estate business and in the mortgage business if another bubble were to start happening?
One of my mentors back then told me, refis, they come and go, right? But purchase business, relationships with realtors and builders and developers always stands the true of time, right? People are always buying a house. They're always buying. So doing this for such a long time, I focus most of my energy on building relationships with realtors, builders, developers, and so forth. So if we ever do hit that bubble again, we're still, purchase heavy. Someone's always looking to purchase a house, right? Maybe not a lot of them. Maybe just not a huge book of business, but enough to put food on the table. And one thing that I could tell both agents and loan officers watching this is on the real estate side. I mean, okay, we're stuck at home. We can't show property, so I get it. Well, this is an amazing opportunity. This is actually a great opportunity. Instead of you running around showing houses and doing this and doing that, you actually have time to sit down and build a business plan for yourself. How am I going to effectively get my name outside of my little bubble in the next 30, 60 days that I'm stuck inside? Such as, there's no business, I can't show houses. Well, you know what? I understand that. Everyone has that problem. So what's going to make you better than anybody else? Go on Facebook, say, don't just copy paste articles that you read in Newsweek or Mortgage News Daily or whatever. Read it and put it to yourself. Hey, I read this great article in Mortgage News Daily about the current environment. This is how I see it impacting our local markets. Now you don't know this, but now you've made yourself a market expert by simply reading an article and making it your own and putting it to today's environment on where we're all sitting today. Facebook, do games, do anything that gets your name out on social media. And I would strongly recommend Facebook and Instagram. We as a company, between myself and the company, we get a lot of leads from Facebook. Hey, rates are low today. Hey, if you refinance from a 20, 30 year at this rate, it saves you X amount of dollars. I mean, you just got to find a creative way to stand out. And as a loan officer, hey, this is a great time to grind it out. Hey, man, yeah, we're not making money. Things aren't closing. Appraisers can't walk through the front door. Hey, you know what? This is your opportunity to shine. Reach out and make yourself the center of influence. That's what I call it. If you have kids in t-ball, right, or soccer or church, right, if you have a closed group, like for example, we have, I coach my son's soccer, right? So yeah. I make it well known to the parents, like, hey guys, I do mortgages. I don't sell, like, hey, we'll refi you. And I don't give them the car salesman pitch, but I let them know what I do. So I've made myself a center of influence. So now, hey, we're looking to refinance. Oh, wait, Andrew's dad coaches soccer. He does more. Oh, I want to reach out to him. And then they reach out to me. And then, hey, we're looking to sell our house. Well, you know what? I have a good set of realtors that I can introduce you to. Fantastic. I have their name, because nothing goes further than a personal recommendation from somebody. Banks are banks. Hey, I bank with, I'm going to say the names. I banked with so-and-so bank for such a long time, or my credit union's been loyal to me for years. Okay. This is how I always tell customers. I've been at this bank for 20 years and this is their rate. Let's say, let's say 3.8, and I am offering you 3.25. Well, I like my bank. I've been there forever. They have everything on my accounts. Right. But if you break down 3.8 and you break down 3.25, and you break down the interest over 20, 30 years, right? Let's do an average of $80,000 of interest. Do you like your bank that much that you want to pay them $80,000 in interest? That much. Because I guarantee you, when you have an overdraft fee or an ATM fee or whatever fee, they're not going to call you, hey, you know what? You've been loyal. We're going to just forgive this. No. So unfortunately, in our marketplace, you've got to think for yourself.
Absolutely. And what I tell people is the most important thing is you want to deal with somebody that you're comfortable with and that makes you feel confident when you're going to purchase. And, not all banks are going to give you that experience. A lot of times the people working directly for the banks tend to be a lot more I don't want to say lazy, but kind of they don't like to go get business because they have people just walking in the bank giving them business, and they're not answering their phone all the time at 8 o'clock at night when you have a question. When your local mortgage broker or banker might be answering the phone a little bit later at night, or at the very least being communicating after hours. Hey, let me get back to you tomorrow morning, or whatever the fact is. You just get a better experience overall. You said a lot of great things there. But I want to get a little bit more into you here. So you last year, it's funny thing is you and I were sitting down talking, and I was telling you about how our business was growing and how exciting it was. And I could just see like your eyes lighten up. And I'm pretty sure that you got the idea to open Redtree when you were sitting right in front of me. Like maybe you had pondered it at one point in time, but you like decided the minute you were sitting in front of me, like, I'm going to open my own company. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, but like when I thought about it, I was like, I think he decided it right then. But what made you decide that opening your own company was the right move? Because I mean, let's just face it. I mean, you could make tons of money in your business not managing employees and having the overhead of that beautiful office that you're in right now and all that other stuff. So what made you decide to open up your own company, Redtree Mortgage?
Well, thank you, Ian. Yeah, us sitting down talking and you tell me how you and Alex started it. I'm like, I think I might be able to do this. So yeah, you were definitely part of the inspiration of moving forward and taking the leap. So thank you. First off, Redtree Mortgage. People are like, Redtree, what's Redtree? What is that? We in my backyard, there's a large field. Think of it as like almost like 2 football fields, right? Completely flat, not flat, but open. And there's one little tree in the middle of this field. And my children always say, hey, Daddy, can we run in the backyard? Can we run up to the red tree? So I get pleasure, joy, love seeing my kids just be part of it all, right? So I thought of red tree. My wife and I thought of red tree just because, we are very spiritual. So we really can't call it the red bush mortgage, right? So we call it red tree mortgage. So I held, like I said, market manager positions, regional and national positions. And in all these positions were great leaders. Everybody contributed. Every CEO, every president that I reported to, because I was usually part of the executive chain, they all had great things to do about their companies, and obviously bad, right? But, and I learned a lot. I mean, I'm not saying any CEO or company was bad, because I learned something new from everyone. But one thing that I did take away was, okay, if I ever started my own company, this is how I would do product, this is how I would do pricing, and this is how I would do, personnel. And so when I started putting together a business plan for Redtree Mortgage, I was trying to hit upon like, oh, well, this company did this, and I really like that, but this other company did this. So I kind of tried to find the right, have a median for how I wanted the principles of the company to start. So we are family. We are family, customer, and faith-based. So that true. I mean, the people that we have on staff are great people. They would go to bat for me and vice versa, and we take care of one another. And I think with our partnerships with, you and Alex and a majority of your staff there at DHRE and some of the other partners that we have around Pittsburgh, I mean, it's a phone call. It's a handshake. It's like, hey, let's grab a beer, a cup of coffee. It's become not just like refer me, refer you. It's become like, hey, I really trust Ian and Alex and his staff, and vice versa, where it's become very, very personal. So what I've taken away from my other companies is personal attention, and really listening to my employees and their needs and rates. I mean, we're not like banks, we're not like correspondent lenders, we're wholesalers. So would you like to buy your favorite sweater from the Gap? Or would you like to buy from the people who made the sweater that sells at the Gap? I'm the small business owner. I'm the guy that makes the sweater. We're a wholesale. So we pass on the savings to our customers. So when you look at our Zillow reviews, 99% of them say lowest rate out there, lowest fees out there, because, I'm not looking to get rich on every single unit. But if I do 50 units at a discounted price, well, guess what? We're still meeting the end goal. We're building relationships with our customers. We are providing a great source of revenue for the company and the loan officer without overdoing it on fees and compensation. So that's it, man. That's the bigger picture is more units and flexibility.
Okay. Well, let's go into your day to day. So, what does a day in the life of Alex Reinig look like from when you wake up to when you go to bed? And we're going to do a COVID-19 question here. So, what did it look like before COVID-19, and what does it look like during COVID-19?
Right now, well, before pre-COVID, uh, let's see here. Sorry, just trying to remember what happened, what we did
It
3
was so
months ago.
long ago.
I know, it's like what did I do back then? Reviewed locks every day to see what rates were expiring, what weren't. We wanted to make sure, is it our fault? Is it something that we need to train the loan officers on? Is it something that we need to reach out to our customers about, so we don't have the great rates expire? Typically emails to my staff advising them of market changes, because every investor, every lender, every market news that comes out, I strongly believe, excuse me, that knowledge is power. So just reading a quick article, like, oh, I didn't know that happened today, or hey, FHA did this, or VA's doing that. I think it's good. Knowledge is power.
Alex, you're going to have to give me a tad bit more detail. I want to know, I wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, I get my cup of coffee, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, I get to the office by this. I want to know, like,
You really want to know, like,
I want to know everything. I want to know how
right.
you're wired.
I thought you were like trying to be PC here. Okay, well, fine. You want to know? You want to know? There you go. So typically get up around 7:30 every morning. Yeah, I know that's late for some, but 7:30 every morning. Get up. I say a quick prayer every single morning. Hop in the shower. I'm out of the shower by 8:15. Say goodbye to my wife and kids, and I'm out the door probably by 8:30. I am here in the office by 9 a.m. before the market opens. That's typically pre-COVID. That's exactly what I do every morning. I'm here at 9 a.m. I come in, I greet my loan officers that are already here, because typically they get here at 9. My sales manager, Bob Soda, who's an amazing manager, he's here too. And we're rolling. They're typically here probably a couple minutes before I am. And everyone's happy, cup of coffee. How's everyone doing? How's the kids? How's the family? Let's go. Let's rock and roll. How's this loan doing? How's that loan doing? I heard about this. I heard about that. All right, let me know if there's anything you guys need from me. I'm going to be in my office. Come get me. Boom. So that's how we start our day. We have a gong in the office. So every time a little gong. So every time we get a lock loan, they hit the gong, and it lets everyone in the office know, like, hey, we're ready for business. We got a lock loan. Let's rock and roll. So that's how I start my day. As an owner, there's a million different things that come across your plate, between compliance, loan scenarios, customer issues. I'm the quarterback, right? So I'm dealing with a lot of different things. So trying to pinpoint how my day is from every day, probably from the 7:30 a.m. to the minute I walk through the front door at 9 a.m., that's pretty standard. But after 9:15, it's complete chaos, So like probably when the refi boom started, probably beginning of March. I was working from 9 to 9. Hey honey, I'm not gonna make it for dinner. I'm just completely swamped. It was more from our LOs. The more loans that we push through, the more customer contact we have, the more engagement we have with our realtor partners, led the way for our loan officers. So I just tell them, hey, just go home. I'll deal with it. Go home. I'll get it. Just because we don't want to leave or lose that personal touch to our customers and to our agents. You'll notice that if you ever do business, if anyone watching this does business with Redtree, you'll see we are very personable, very easy to get a hold of. We take passion in our work.
Okay, so you're missing one thing. I'm going to assume that you have something in your schedule pre-COVID for some sort of health, like working out or something. Because I know your wife's into yoga, so I know she's not going to let you just laze around all day. So what are you doing to pump the blood, pump the iron, whatever you're doing?
Yeah, well, my glory days of running and working out like a man like you at 5:30 a.m. Sorry, brother. You will not. I'm the guy that hates sunrises. I hate sunrises.
I'm going to get you back to it.
I'm more of a sunset with a beer in my hand kind of guy. So, no, I just, walks around the neighborhood with my wife. We try to do that, every other day at least. But soccer, I'm very, very engaged in our soccer community. I coach, the a travel team. My son is, works out and does stuff with Beadling here, really well-known soccer organization here in Pittsburgh. So we're down there in South Point probably 2 or 3 times a week. So, and then we play outside, in the basement. I have a big bar, but kind of shove everything to the side. And we actually create like a little soccer area downstairs, and with a Nerf soccer ball and with 2 goals, and we play soccer a lot. So that's how we are definitely a soccer family.
So you're active. You just don't hit the gym at 5:30 in the morning. Maybe I can get you on that eventually.
Probably not. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna work on
an early riser.
I'll get you out on the basketball court hooping it up.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about during COVID. So now your industry's allowed to do more than the real estate agents and stuff are. So what's your day look like now with everything that's going on? Because I know you guys are actually still relatively busy through this process, because there's a lot of people refinancing because the rates are low.
Yeah.
And, so maybe not as many purchases, but more refis. But has it changed your day to day at all?
Significantly. Today is the 28th of April, and this is my 2nd day in the office in the last 40 days. So I just said, hey, you know what? I'm going to start coming to the office. I'm allowed to come to the office. I stayed away from the office just to be safe. But, we are considered an essential business because we're a non-depository. So I'm coming to the office. I've advised my staff to stay home. But so, yes, I'm still coming to the office. Like, I got here this morning, I think around 9 a.m. again. I'm trying. I told my wife I want to get back into that same routine. Between the marketing, the coming to the office, I need that energy, because I can't lose focus. Obviously, being the broker owner, can't lose focus, right? But the way things have changed now is refis. We had I think in the month of March and first week in April, I think we locked like 82 loans. So things are just crazy right now for us. We are swamped, busy. We do have a handful of purchases in Pittsburgh, just probably maybe 6, maybe 7. But we are now licensed in Georgia, and we put on 29 purchase applications in Georgia in the last 15 days.
Wow. Yeah, I know they opened up their state. So a lot of other states are actually, even New York, which is probably the worst state of all, is still doing really more than we are here in Pennsylvania. So
on the refi side up here in PA and Maryland, we're swamped. And then the added addition of the 29 contracts we got from Atlanta, we're swamped. So when I took a walk yesterday around my neighborhood, there's an appraiser that's a neighbor of ours. And yes, I talked to an appraiser. And no, he's not my client and has no loans with me. So just make it crystal clear. So I actually said hello, did a 6 feet apart kind of crap. And I said, how's everything going? He's like, hey man, we're slow. We're doing drive-bys. We're assisting with PIWs, which are property inspection waivers. But we can't go in. He's like, I'm dying here. I have a small team of realtors, appraisers, and we can't do any business. We're in trouble. And he knows that, I own a mortgage company. He's like, man, you guys, same thing what you said, we're busy, and he sees that we're busy, and, he's just like, I hope soon we can get back into the grind.
Yeah, the most important thing is stay positive, keep your head up. I did a video on YouTube last week, just 10 things you can focus on if you are listening to the show and you just need some things to keep your mind off of it. Now, let's start moving. So I want to give some advice to some people who are just starting out or maybe somebody who might think about getting into one of our industries. So let's go back to let's say 20, 21, 22-year-old Alex Reinig, but put him in 2020.
Right.
What changes would you have made back in your early 20s, but taking current market conditions in, and what would you have done to build your career up?
Okay. So I'm probably going to kill for this, but we're all brainwashed about going to college and get a degree and doing this and doing that, right? It's great. And I think it's great. We hope our children go to college and do what they need to. But in our environment, being you, Ian, and in the real estate side, and myself being on the mortgage side, you know, I get these resumes from college grads. I get clients who have good positions, and we're making just as much, if not more. So this is a great business. Real estate on the sales, being an agent, and also on the loan officer side. So coming out of college, if you can't find the right fit of a job, right, don't shy away from the real estate market or to become a loan officer. I want you to picture this. You really need to be an extrovert. Can you sit at a bar? And I'm not talking like be a lush, right? You're at the other side of the bar, and you see one other guy or one other couple on the other side of the bar. Can you comfortably spark a very nice conversation with those people? Like, hey, yeah, how's this beer? God knows, spark something. If you can do that, then you can do this business. And when I say that business, I'm talking about yours and mine. You have to be able to, one, have a normal conversation with a random stranger and be comfortable with it. Number two, you have to learn how to take no thank you, not interested, as a tattoo on your forehead, because you're going to get a lot more no's than yeses. One of my old managers, Jackie Brinker, told me once, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to get a prince, right? So it's true. In the real estate side, hey, I want to list your home. It's $350. Oh my God, it's a great commission, but I'm going to give it to my neighbor's kid or neighbor's mom or whatever, right? And you lose that. You're like, oh my God, it's a bugger. Same with us, but being young in this industry, yeah, if you went to college for chemistry or engineering or whatever, try to get into that field. If it doesn't pan out, seriously consider our environment. Our environment pays very, very well. And the best part about it is we can do our jobs on the beach. You build a good enough network on the real estate side or loan officer side. I took an application on a cruise ship passing Cuba. It was $1 million application. And I told the customer, hey, I can do your application when I get home. I'm on a cruise ship right now. Oh, I don't really care where you're at. I just need it done. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty freaking great job.
Yeah, no, I definitely work when I'm on vacation too. It's one of the pros, but also cons of the industry for sure.
Yeah.
So would you make any changes though from like when you started compared to where you're at now? So like if you were to start all over again, what's one thing you would change if you were to start all over again?
Well, it's cultivating relationships. I would have done it differently. Now opposed to back then. Back then, it's the good old playbook of buy donuts, show up at offices, and shake hands, and email everybody. We didn't have text messages back then. Email everyone.
Texts have been around forever. What are you talking?
Well, yeah, you're a baby, dude. I'm like double your age. So, the donuts, the flyers. Let me send you my rates for the day. Like the old day playbook. That's what I had to do. Nowadays everything's technology. So, using LinkedIn, using Facebook, using Instagram to try to communicate with realtors or clients. And if you're able to find one little bit of connection, it's a huge of a difference. So if you reach out to a customer online that it's a developer or whatever, right? And you're like, I don't know this dude. I don't know who this guy is. Oh, wait a minute. He belongs to this church. Oh, hey, Dean. Hey, will you and I go to this church together? You've never met, right? Like, hey, I like the opportunity to have coffee with you. Well, now he's like, oh, there's a connection here. Okay, yeah, I'll meet with you. Or, hey, Cindy, I see you're friends with, Ian. Oh, yeah, would you mind having a cup of coffee with me? Sure. So that's how you try to build a mutual connection with that person. Look at their, like, I know, I'm not saying like stalk, right? You gotta look, but try to find a connection to that person. Are they into race cars? Are they church? Do they hike and bike? Are they, are they community leaders? Is there anything that ties you to them? Because if not, your conversation is not going to be like, hey, we belong to the same church, or hey, we know the same people, or our kids go to the same school. It's going to be like, hi, can I sell you something?
Yeah, and I get those pitches all the time on LinkedIn, like, I help realtors. Da, da, da. Like, well, you didn't even look at my page because I'm not even a realtor anymore. Like, I don't sell
Yep.
houses very much anymore. My crew does, but
Yep.
I mean, you have to be more personable with people for sure. And I think what I love that you're saying is, if you were to start back over today, you might use social media and stuff as a way to help, but it's still people business. You're still talking about communicating and trying to break barriers down to talk with people. And at the end of the day, this is a shaking hands and kissing babies type of business. You have to get out there and meet people. I love that. All
Yep.
right. So
100%.
one thing I ask everybody who comes on the show, and it's one of the last questions before we get into our fire round, is what is the funniest story you have about your career?
Funniest, funniest story about my career. I had a client when I was in Florida. I had a client looking to refi. We refied a condo, and he said, "Hey, do you refi in New Jersey?" And I said, "Matter of fact, I do, because we're for a bank." So I'm in the process of doing the refinance. Life is good. This client's well qualified. It's perfect. And believe it or not, an appraiser actually called me. I wasn't sure I could take the call. Like, hey, this is so and so. I'm the appraiser on at 1400 blah 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 street. And I'm like, appraisers never called me. So I took the call. So I'm like, yeah, can I help you? He's like, hey, but he was like, I don't know, he had like a countryish accent. I don't know. He's just like, hey, man, have you looked at pictures of 14 blah blah blah? I'm like, yeah, I saw it on Zillow or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, have you really looked at it? I'm like, I have no idea. He's like, here, let me show you. And he's like, check out your email. So the building had caught fire years ago. So like the front side, you can see the brick or whatever in the front. But once you turn the corner, it's like a townhome. You turn the corner, the whole backside of it was like gone. The whole, I'm like, and so he goes, you see what I mean? I'm like, I'm so sorry, I didn't see that. So obviously we declined. So I told the customer that, hey man, his name is Jeff. Hey Jeff, you realize the house you want me to do? I'm like, what are you trying to pull here? He's like, oh, I must have forgot about that. So
You forgot that like half the building missing.
Freaking kidding me right now. So he was trying to do a cash out refi without home appraisal, and he got caught with the whatever. So,
oh, wait, he already owned the building. The building had caught on fire.
Yep.
And then he tried to get cash out of it.
Yeah, well, I think it was. I think back then with the Bank of America days, I think it was a drive-by appraisal, and he didn't think a desktop appraisal. That's what it was. So that's what it was.
So he was hoping to get that, and instead you guys had like a
quick drive-by, and the guy noticed it.
A BPO or something done. Wow,
first and only time an appraiser ever called me ever.
He's like, yeah, I ain't appraising this. What are you talking about?
So,
all right.
Exactly.
So we're going to get into the fire round. These are the same 5 questions I ask everybody who comes on the show. And I'm hoping you're going to give me something with this first question because I need something new. I need something fresh in my life. What is your favorite technology tool?
Favorite technology tool? Oh, come on. That's too easy. An iPhone, of course.
No. Like an app on your iPhone or something that helps you in your daily business.
Daily business. ScanBot.
ScanBot. What is ScanBot?
ScanBot. So you take a picture with your phone, and it automatically converts it to a PDF. And it emails it to you. And if you're in a tight space, like on the beach, and you have 5 pages you need to scan, and there's nowhere near you, you take 5 pictures of it. It lets you take 1 picture at a time, right?
Sure, yeah.
Puts all 5 pages together, emails it to you as a PDF, and honestly, it's amazing technology. So
It is amazing. That technology has come a long ways too. When those apps first started coming out, they were horrible and the quality
yeah,
was bad. Now I mean, you can barely tell that you use your phone versus using a scanner.
yep,
I use I'm an Android user. I'm not an Apple user, and I use an app called Cam Scanner because that's what
yeah,
Android users are, the cool kids. Like
yeah,
we're not the ones we're not sheep in a herd. We're the horses going around the exterior. Like we're the cool kids. But anyways, very cool. Yeah, that's a great technology tool. I didn't know what that was like because I've never heard of that app. Probably because it's an Apple app. But yeah, I use something very similar. All right. So, what is your favorite real estate? And if you don't have a real estate, what's your favorite business book?
uh, you know what?
You're
There's
not allowed to say pecan pie.
no, pecan pie. It's a great book.
That's an inside joke.
We know the guy.
We do.
Great book, great leader, great speaker.
Yeah.
On a side note, I can't remember the name of the book. I haven't read a book in years. I read manuals and training manuals, compliance documents. Reading a book, I'll be honest with you, I haven't. But there is a Navy SEAL. His name is Jocko. I can't remember his last name. My wife and I, she started reading this book. And she's like, this leader is great. And he's like, let me just read you one quick passage. It said, if the employees failed or failing, it's because I have failed them as a leader. And boy, man, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Then hours later, I really thought about it. I'm like, oh my God, maybe she's right. Like, who said that? And she said, this Jocko guy. I'm like, oh, Jocko, the Navy SEAL guy? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I had dinner with him in LA, probably 7 years ago.
Very cool.
So I'm like, wow, it's amazing. And then the fact that I got to meet the guy and have dinner with him one-on-one was amazing.
And he has a couple of books out there, so I'm gonna have to look it up. One thing that I actually do read or listen. I probably listen more than I read to a bunch of business books. And I was joking with one of my buddies the other day, and I said, the one thing that these books don't teach you, right? Because I read a lot of real estate investment books. I have a rental portfolio. I do flips. Is what do you do when the whole world shuts down? Because there's no handbook on that. Nobody's ever dealt with this before. So it was just funny. It's like Robert Kiyosaki never taught us what happens when the world shuts down, right? But I think we're getting through. We're making it through. It's just you gotta find the humor when you can. You gotta laugh still, right? Like you gotta have fun still.
Yeah.
So if you were not a mortgage broker, what would you be?
Honestly, I would probably be a semi or professional soccer coach.
A semi-professional soccer? Why not just a
or
professional
pro? I mean, semi or professional. I'd be a soccer coach for sure.
As far as you can go up the ranks, anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
So you would not be like the new age Howard Stern then. You would not have advanced your radio career that far.
No, I had fun. I did enough adult games on stage and certain giveaways, interesting piercings, stuff like that. Yeah, those days are over.
All right, well, we've heard enough about soccer. What's your favorite hobby outside of soccer?
It's not golf because I suck at it. So let me think here.
I'm totally getting you on the golf course now.
Dude.
You can't be worse than me.
I
play all the time.
Honestly, deep sea fishing. I'm a champ.
Fishing. Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. My last CEO I had over at Seastone, we went deep sea fishing in California because I have a large family out there, and I think we caught like 60-some fish.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
It was like literally you threw the rod in and just pulled it right in. I think we caught a crap ton of like barracuda, rockfish.
Wow. What did you do with all those fish? You like freeze them?
We kept probably only about 20% of it. We kept, and the rest of it we just gave to local families. We donated it to local families because there's a lot of fish.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
So, speaking of golf, so we're allowed to start golfing May 1st. I think you and I should go golfing together, and then since we both suck, we'll do whoever has the highest score wins, right? Instead of I mean, I
No.
play quite a bit, but I still suck. I'm still bad, you know. Like
I only do a shot for every lost ball you lose.
we'll be passed out on like the sixth hole or something. All right, last question here. What is your dream vacation?
My dream vacation. We just did a cruise to a 8-day cruise over the Christmas this last year, 2019, and I've been privileged to see a lot of different beaches because my dad was a pilot, so we had to go to a lot of places for free. But I gotta say, the coolest place I've ever seen out of Caribbean and this area, would probably be Grand Turk or Turks and Caicos. I mean, it was amazing. So that's my dream vacation. So once this COVID thing is gone and over, I'm out of here. I'm working remote. Call me. I'll be on the beach.
I told my wife, I'm officially done with cruises. We've done 3 cruises in probably about an 18-month period, right? Because we did 2 and we thought we were done. And then one of my buddies talked me into doing a Disney cruise.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we signed up for the Disney cruise. It was supposed to be a bunch of us going. And then by the time we went on the cruise, we were the only family going. Everybody else had like canceled and gotten their money back. So
yeah,
we had already told the kids. So we're like, I guess we're going. But for an adult to be on a Disney cruise when you have like no drink package, you got no unlimited Wi-Fi, you got no casino. Oh man, the kids had a blast, and the adults were tortured on this Disney cruise. Absolutely tortured. I would never, if I do go on another cruise, it absolutely will not be a Disney cruise. Not because I don't love Disney. I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but because it is torturous. You just can't do anything fun. Like the kids go to sleep, and you're like, oh, I guess I'll sit in my room and watch a Disney movie.
Yeah. Our cruise is a little bit different. It was just a Carnival cruise, and it was family friendly, and but the kids went to bed, and my wife didn't want to leave the kids alone, so I ended up meandering the ship by myself. But it was all good.
That's usually what happens with us too. My wife goes to bed at like 9 o'clock, and I'm at like the casino till like
that was me
in the morning.
So that was me. That was me. It's all good. You know what? I had fun. Everyone had fun, and I'm looking forward to this virus passing, and for all of us to get back to normal or semi-normal.
All right. Well, yeah, me too, man. I think within the next 2 weeks we should be back at it. But in the meantime, you and I should set up a golf date for next week. Let's do it. I think
I'm down. I'm down with it.
Yeah, you're 100%. Down. Well, hey, man, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time, and we're going to get this prepared and blasted out all over the place. And
sure.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Hey, just real quick before I get off, I want to say something real quick.
Sure.
To anyone out there who doesn't know or doesn't deal with the HRE a lot, I've had the privilege to do a couple happy hours with you and your staff, and I gotta say, you guys are just like me, hometown, personable. Your agents that work for you, Ian, you're just great people with good hearts. So we love working with DHRE, and I hope you guys continue to grow and expand. Thank you.
We're all part of the same family, brother. I really appreciate it. Deacon Hoover, Redtree, we're going to have some big things that come in the future. So, again, thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk soon.
All right, brother.
Okay, guys, that was a great podcast. I hope that you really enjoyed it. Alex is doing some great things in the mortgage business, just like we're doing on the real estate business. It's good to get another point of view on how things are going right now with COVID. If you are currently looking for some things you can do to help, keep you busy, keep you focused on business while you're at home, check out my YouTube channel, E&S Hoover. I have a video on 10 things that you can focus on right now during COVID-19 to improve your business. But most importantly, stay safe, stay focused, and enjoy some extra family time during this time that we're locked away at home. And I hope you guys are having a good month for everything that it can be. We'll talk to you soon. Once again, this is the Realtor Nation podcast on the Deacon Hoover Radio Network.